really bad idea or a failed idea or some kind of design choice that you've tried over and over again but it never seems to work?
I'm sure we do.
You want to run the count?
I'm drawing a blank. Go.
So we're egomaniacs, right? That's like all our job is like telling people that our opinions are right. There's more to it than that. But so when we have a bad idea, like we typically try and forget it as soon as possible. All of us have had like bad ideas, but that's why we're struggling.
I guess I can atone for my sins. I'm sorry for the fan caps in Rock Band 1. I'm sorry for choose character on Rock Band 1 matchmaking. It's a default option, so everyone matches. I'm not sorry for Bladder of Steel. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I've got one. Well, actually, one that's just generally about our design process in general. Like I've said before that design is making bad choices in search of good ones. So for vocal harmonies in Beatles, there were many bad decisions along the way at the start. One of the classic ones is that we had a lot of debate about whether someone had to be the lead singer or whether someone had to sing the lead line over the course of the song. And we actually implemented it for a while where the blue line, someone had to sing that. And it was because in Rock Band there's always one thing you need to sing, and the argument was, well, people need that anchor to know what to do, otherwise they'll get lost or confused or frustrated. There's too many choices. We tried it and it sucked. But it was based on sound principles, and that's a lot of what you find. It's like you design something on the best knowledge you have, and then you build it, and then when it sucks, you figure out why and change it. So it's a big part of the process, honestly.
There are so many brilliant people working all the way from along the lines, like the coders and the artists and QA and the audio people that if you have a really bad idea and you try and put it in the game, you're going to hear about it.
So, I think that's the one awesome thing of working with everyone else here on this panel is that I don't think any of us have the same thought or vision on games. Casey and I pretty much wholly disagree on games and things like that, but it's that it sort of gets us to, when we have a consensus on something, we know it's awesome, essentially.
Cheers. Thanks.
Hello. I'll just start with a little anecdote. My 6-year-old came home the other day with a note from his teacher saying, David won't stop singing Beatles songs. And basically my question is, Beatles Rock Band really created a new generation of fans. And when you choose bands, I'm not going to ask who's in Rock Band 3, but when you choose bands like indie bands, my husband and I downloaded so many songs on iTunes from bands that we discovered through Rock Band. Do you make a conscious, choice of thinking, okay, this is really going to promote this artist, or I'm sure there's a lot of bands that are offering up their songs for your games. Is this a conscious decision? Okay, I really want this band, and since some of you are musicians and you're all music lovers, that this is going to promote the artists.
Yeah, I mean, and it kind of splits in all different directions. Some reasons we'll put bands in the game is because we love them. Some of them is because MTV obviously has a good sense of what's popular as well. I think the awesome thing, especially for indie bands, to do a bit of self-promotion stuff is Rock Band Network. Being able to just put your song in the game and not have to deal with labels or going through the process that we have to go through for going through music labels is massive. But a lot of the choices of what goes in the game, a lot of it's from the rockband.com community. We have a song suggestion form that you guys can suggest songs with. A lot of it is also, we're 250-ish, people who love music as well. So a lot of it is us debating about which bands can go in the game, which ones deserve to be on a disc or not. Huge debates about what bands should be in which locations.
I personally have no influence over what music goes in the game. I spend a lot of my time crossing my fingers and hoping that they choose my favorite band the same way you guys do,
Yeah. But on the other hand, a lot of it is that everyone in the company does get to sort of, as the set list starts coming together and options are presented, we get to kibitz back and forth on what they like and advocate for what they care about, or suggest people thought about. So.
Eye of the Tiger is a great example in RB2. Like that was one that was like there was like a bunch of people that were super passionate in senior management and a bunch of people that were super against it, and it was like this huge tussle of like whether Eye of the Tiger would make it on this, but it was awesome. So I'm glad it did.
It's the most played like song in Rock Band 2. There's something like 2 million leaderboard scores for it.
Way more than that. Yeah,
Also the first one. Oh yeah, fair enough.
Well, thanks for making a game that we can play with our 6-year-old.
Thanks for buying it.
Yeah, thanks for playing.
So hello, Hallmarks guys. I'm also a really big North American, like everyone here probably.
I'm sorry, I can't understand you.
You can move the mic. That's good. But anyway, I'm also a student designer, and I really hope to work with you all one day. So my question is, since you're based here in Cambridge or close by, do you actually have people visit the office every now and then, like just to look at it, or is that more like classified stuff?
It's less these days.
So the question was, do we have people visiting our office since we're like right nearby?
We do have people trying. There were people outside our office on Thursday, which was kind of awesome, and it was kind of really creepy. When Beatles started, we actually went into security lockdown, and to me, one of the most amazing parts of Beatles was that for a solid, I would say maybe 9 months, a significant proportion of the company was working on the project, and no one knew. Which for a project of that scope is honestly amazing, and actually speaks to sort of level of trust and just the no assholes, like I was saying before, policy that we have there. That everyone values the company and thinks enough that they kept a secret, and so we actually made it so that like people could not go beyond the main lobby, whereas it used to be pretty open. We're trying to like find that balance now because we're still working on really cool stuff that I really can't talk about. But yeah, so not so much.
Thank you.
Hi. So I have 3 like small detail questions about things. First, I thought of just in line with the guy was asking about drums, which is something that exists in Guitar Hero 4, which I haven't heard of that. But one thing that would be really cool for us non-actual drummers would be auto kick thing. Have you considered that? Is one.
I think Lego had that actually.
I haven't played that game. Okay, yeah. So that's one. Cool. Another question along the line of similar to "Can No Fail Be Easier" is, can we ever have hot band member swapping rather than like someone can walk up to the next song and say, "No, I don't want to play this instrument. No, I want to stop playing this instrument." Like I live in a place where, not in college, where there's like lots of people coming in and out, and like sometimes there'll be 4 people, then 3, then 2, then 3, and it's pretty obnoxious. So that's one. And the last thing is, how and when are you planning on fixing the strum limit?
Fixing what?
The strum limit?
Yeah.
This is a fun question.
Can you explain the question first?
So there's a theory going around Score Hero people that there's a strum limit in the game where we limit it to.
We know it's not intentional.
It's. I'm trying to figure out how much I can talk about this. There's a thing where like people think there's a theoretical maximum to how quickly you can strum, and
People
I mean
with PAL TVs can FC Greengrass, and people without them can't. It's not an issue. Like,
but I mean, there's like a bunch of things in here that make it a little difficult to talk through. I mean, it's probably better if I talk afterwards and like go through everything. The short story is there is and there isn't, and right now, like I think the highest density we author to is like the highest density we ever authored. We never released this, but Bodhisattva had like a 23 notes a second roll, and we brought that down. But we had people in QA hitting that, and that's like way higher than we've ever released or authored. So like, there's nothing out there that isn't 100% full comboable. There's a theoretical limit. Obviously, we can't go higher than 60 frames a second because we can't register multiple hits a frame. There is some other stuff I don't think I can talk about, but like there's some other stuff we do there to make the general experience better. So for timing, because we don't want people to have to